There we go. All right. Well, hello and welcome to class again. So let's just start with wiggling our hands in the air. And just feeling if you need to stretch your fingers, if you need to make fists, maybe you kind of dance one finger at a time. And just tune into your wrists and your hands and just see how your hands want to play right now. Maybe loosening the wrists, flopping them back and forth. And then drawing your arms out to the sides, really stretching palms wide, even flexing your wrists back so you get a nice stretch on the inside of your arms. And then flexing your hands the other way. So back and forth. And then lifting both palms up to the ceiling and exhale, palms face down, down to the floor. Inhale, arms reach high, maybe gaze looks up. Exhale, hands come down. Last time, inhale up. And exhale, palms come down. Rolling both shoulders in big circles, going backwards. And rolling your shoulders forwards. And then starting to lift one shoulder, leaning off your chair out to the side, and then the other chair, other side, other shoulder leaning out. So you're leading with your shoulder and you're drawing your rib cage side to side. Back and forth. So you're really squishing one side and then you're opening the other side. All right, one more time each side. And back to center, and then let's add a twist. So maybe sitting on the edge of your chair. And we're gonna twist over to one side. So bring one hand to the outside of your knee and maybe the other hand to the side of the chair. Sitting up tall, twisting, looking over to the side. Breathing and holding here. Back to center. And then we'll twist over to the other side, outside of your knee, touches your hand, and then holding the back of your chair, sitting tall and twisting. And back to center, raising both arms over your head. And releasing your hands down to your lap. Let's straighten the left leg. So maybe you bring your hands under your leg, pressing through the heel. If it's too much to hold your leg up, you can always keep your heel on the ground. But I'll keep mine up so at least you can see my foot here. And then point and flex those toes. And then bending the knee and straightening the leg. Bending and straightening. Bending and straightening. All right, and then let's see if we can stir the pot. So just at your knee joint, you're gonna swing your heel around. kind of like you're stirring a big pot of stew, and then circling and going in the other direction. All right, lower that foot down, press your hands into your thighs, sit up nice and tall, drop your shoulders, open your heart forward. And then we'll switch to the other side. So you can keep your leg on the floor or reach your leg up and straight, flexing those toes back to your face, and then pointing your toes and flexing, pulling your toes back to your face, back and forth. Extend and pull back. Extend and pull back. And then bending that knee, letting your leg flop around. And then maybe it starts to roll in circles, kind of leading with your ankle or your foot, moving first in one direction, and then switching and rotating the other way. Softening up the legs and the knee joints. And then lowering that leg and foot down to the ground, bringing the hands back to the thighs, pressing in. And as you press in, you're going to lower your shoulders down. So it's almost like I'm squeezing my elbows into the sides and then finding my fingertips having a little bit of tension there. So I'm opening my heart and squeezing my shoulder blades. All right, and then release. Bring your hands down to your knees, drawing circles over your knees. Switching directions. And then coming behind your knees, doing circles behind the knees. And switching directions. And then just sliding your hands from your calves up to your thighs and over your knees. So you can go down the front of your knees, the sides, and the back. So just sliding the hands up and down, clearing the channels in the legs and getting the energy to flow better through the knees. And then we're going to take our first fingers and draw like you're drawing a little figure 8. So you're going to draw a figure 8 on the back of the knees. Just a little tiny drawing, just back and forth. And then we're going to bring that figure 8 to the front of the knees. So maybe it's a little bit bigger. So you can do an 8 from the side, over the top of the knee, and to the inside and the outside. All right, bringing that right foot forward again. We're gonna straighten it, reach it forward, and then bend the knee and place the ankle on the knee. You can always keep your knees a little bit more crossed or your ankles crossed if you can't quite get your knee up here. But just let's take a moment and bring one hand to your knee and one hand to the bottom of your foot, sitting up tall. So you might start to feel a little bit of a stretch in your thigh here. So just squaring your body to the camera. And then we're gonna lean forward, reaching with the top of our head. And then coming back up to sitting. Reaching forward with the top of the head. Coming back to sitting. And this time, let's add the arms. So you're gonna bring, I have my right ankle on my left knee. So I'm gonna bring my right hand to the bottom of my foot. And you're basically just gonna cross your arms and have your, if you're working with the same arms and legs I am, you're gonna have your left hand on top of your left ankle. All right, so again, sit up tall and reach forward with the top of your head leaning over your ankle. So moving with your own breath here, we're gonna sit up tall, breathe in, and exhale as you fold down. So moving at your own pace with your own breathing. All right, and then the next time you come up, we'll release that ankle, hold your knee in, and then gently roll your ankle in circles. Switching directions. And then gently placing that foot back on the ground, pressing your hands into your thighs, sitting up tall. And then let's switch sides. So I'm going to bring my left foot out straight, flex my toes back, bend the knee, place my ankle on my knee. One hand to my right hand to my left foot, left hand to my left knee. Sit up tall. And then lean forward, reaching with the top of your head. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, lean forward. Inhale, sit up tall. And then let's add the twisted arm. So hand to your ankle, opposite hand to the bottom of the foot. So you just have this X made with your hands. Sit up tall. And then exhale, round your back, tuck your chin, lean forward. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, forward. So moving with your own breath back and forth. All right, taking one more. Inhale, sitting up nice and tall. And you can release your hands, bringing your hands to the knee, hugging the knee into your chest. Maybe it's just toes are on the ground. Maybe you're bringing your knee up high, whichever way. And then let's do some ankle rolls. Rolling the ankle, lubricating that joint, moving the other direction. And then lowering that foot back down to the floor, lifting one knee and then the other as you lift one heel off the ground and then the other. So I'm basically just doing, I'll show you with my hands what I'm doing with my legs, my heels. And then placing both feet on the ground. We'll bring the hands to the heart space. And then we'll bring the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Pausing and breathing here. Letting all those energies we just unscrambled assimilate into the center. And then let's lower the thumbs back down to the heart space. And if you'd like to set an intention for the rest of our class today, maybe there's a word or phrase that comes to mind. And breathing 3 times into your hands, into your hearts. And then softly releasing your hands down to the sides. We'll inhale the arms overhead. Exhale, palms come out, come back down to your thighs, leaning forward. So maybe your belly's on your thighs here. We're going to inhale halfway up. Squeeze your elbows into your sides. Exhale, lower, belly to your thighs, gaze to the floor. And then press into your palms into your thighs, lifting all the way back to sitting. Inhale, arms overhead. And exhale, arms back down to your thighs. So that's like a little mini sun salutation for the chair. So let's do that 2 more times. We'll inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to your lap. Exhale, forward fold. Gaze to the floor, belly to the thighs. Inhale, halfway up. So you're at like a 45-degree angle. Squeeze your shoulders, your elbows into your sides. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press up. Arms raise overhead, fingers touch. And exhale, hands back to your lap. So the sun salutation, it has the word sun in it. So we're basically honoring the sun with this cycle. The rise of the sun in the east and the fall of the sun in the west. So exhale, coming down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press into your knees, lift the arms. And exhale, hands come back down. All right, let's move into a side stretch. So I want you to sit on the edge of your chair. I'm on the right side of my chair, and I'm gonna reach back up a little bit. Reach my right leg out to this side. So my toes are facing the camera. So first, just get your balance here. So now you're only pressing one sit bone into the chair. So just notice what that feels like to be a little bit off center, but still centered over the one side. So notice if you're leaning too far over to one side or the other, and see if you can come back to center here. All right, and we'll inhale, arms both overhead. And exhale, lower. I'm gonna bring my right hand down my leg. Maybe it stops at your thigh. Maybe it comes down to your calf, maybe somewhere in between. So we're gonna keep our heart, instead of turning down to the floor, we're gonna keep it forward to the front of the room and extend that opposite arm out. So let's just pause here and breathe. Noticing what this feels like. And then lowering that left hand back to your thigh and sitting back up to sitting. Hands come to your heart. Opening, stretching your fingertips wide, arms in a T. And then let's bring the fingertips back to touch. So just finding some softness here as they dance open and softly dance close. So sometimes I know I use the taffy as we open and close, but today maybe it's more like little spider webs. So really light and really soft. And then as you come back to hands at your heart, let's bring that right hand back down to your thigh again. We'll open the left hand out to the side. And maybe just stretch in the same position here. Or maybe you want to try a little bit different. So maybe you reach that arm up to the ceiling, or maybe reach it over towards your foot on the ground. So wherever you are, just pause and breathe here, stretching. And maybe move that arm back and forth again. Reaching over and then coming back. Let's bring the left hand to the chair and we're going to reach over to the left with the right hand. So from here, you can press your foot into the floor even more and feel that whole line of energy coming up your leg and out your arm. So you might not look as straight as me, and that's perfectly okay. You might be more arched, you might just still have your arm out to the side, whatever this position looks like for you. And then we'll reach back, hand to your thigh. Scoop up your right thigh, bringing it back to center. Hands to your lap, sit up tall. And just take a moment to notice your right and left sides. And then let's shift over and do the other side. So I'm going to sit on my right thigh, my right sit bone, stretch out my left leg to the side. My left foot is firm, flat to the ground. My toes are pointing forwards. And first we're just going to see if we can sit up tall. So not too far left or right, but just aligned in the center. If you want to bring your hands to your heart. Noticing any stretching or noticing different things in your body. Like I'm noticing my front foot is kind of just hovering off the ground. So maybe I'm going to try to see if I can press equally into both of my feet. All right, and then I'm going to bring my left hand to my thigh. Reach down just a little bit and reach my right arm out to the side. And just pausing in this simple shape here. Breathing into any spaces that you want to. And then we'll come back to center, hands to your heart. Pressing into that one sit bone in the chair. So maybe you're hugging your belly in, maybe you're sitting up a little bit taller this time. And then we're gonna stretch the fingertips wide and draw them back. So stretching those fingertips wide and softly opening and closing. So as we get into these different shapes, maybe notice how your breathing might be soft right now and how it's matching your softness in your fingers. And then notice when we get into other poses how your breathing is, and see if you can bring this same quality into the other pose. All right, so let's try it again on this side. So maybe bring your left hand down your thigh, maybe a little bit more this time, opening the right arm out to the side, heart is forward. And you can either keep your hand here, or if you'd like to play with it, you can reach it to the ceiling or over to the side, pausing and breathing. Notice your breathing. And then softly moving the right arm up and down. Bringing the right hand down to the opposite edge of the chair, hugging your chair. And then we'll bring the left arm up and over, stretching the long line from your left toes out to your left fingertips. Pressing down equally into both of your feet, into the floor. And then whenever you're ready, you can always bring that arm down, left hand to your thigh, scoop the thigh, bringing it forward to the center, coming back, sitting in the middle of your chair, hands to your lap, and heel toeing your feet. So lifting your toes, lifting your heels back and forth. All right, why don't we come to standing and we'll do a little bit of balance work. So hopefully you've got a nice sturdy chair, and I'll just turn mine sideways so that you can see the chair and me easier instead of being behind the chair. So we're going to first just come up high on your tiptoes and draw the shoulders down and gaze forwards. So if you need to come down onto your heels, you can lower down. If you want to stay up the whole time, you can straighten your legs, really pushing and stretching all 10 of your toes. Maybe come down to lower, anchoring your heels to the ground. And then rise up high again. So the higher you go, the lower your shoulders drop. And then notice that you have all this extra space inside your belly now as you lengthen the front side of the body. All right, and lower whenever you want to. From here, we'll grab the top of the chair with both hands and take a few steps backwards. We're gonna come into a modified downward dog. So you can keep your palms flat on the top of the chair like this, or you can hold the chair, whichever feels better to you. But you're gonna drop and be in the shape of an L. So your elbows will be hugging your ears. Your gaze will be at the floor. And there's a soft bend in your knees. So pausing and really pressing down into the chair, and maybe your tailbone is coming away from the chair, feeling that length in the spine and all of your vertebrae separating. All right, if that's, you can always take a few steps forward, come back to standing. Let's come up high on our tiptoes again. Use your chair for balance if you need to. Lower the heels. Let's hold the back of the chair, take a few steps forward, coming back down into our modified downward dog. Elbows Squeezing your ears, gaze to the floor. Feeling your arms and legs pretty straight. Engaging your belly, feeling the space under your armpits lengthening. One more deep breath in, take a breath in and out. And then slowly walking your feet back to the chair, coming high in your tiptoes, and then lowering your heels down to the floor. So I'm going to have my left hand on the top of the chair now. So I'm going to turn and face the camera. I'm going to have maybe 2 feet in between me and the chair. So we're going to do a little bit more side stretching here. We're just going to lift that right arm up and over. So you're welcome to either just keep your arm towards the floor, maybe at a 45-degree angle, or up to the ceiling, or reaching over. Really pressing that right hip out to the side, feeling that whole body stretch from your right foot all the way up your right hip and out the right fingertips. And come back to standing. And we'll do that one more time. So shake out the right hand, bend the knees up and down. And let's do that again. Straighten your legs, reach your arm wherever feels comfortable right now. Breathe here 3 times. And exhale, release the hands, bend your knees, maybe just softly move the arm back and forth, and then let's switch sides. So I'm going to move my chair and step a few feet away from the chair. So I'm gonna hold the top of my chair with my right hand, and my left arm will come out to the side. And I can either stay here on a T, reach to the sky, or reach overhead. So just noticing wherever you want to be today is okay. And we're gonna breathe and hold this a little bit longer. You're always welcome to bring your arm back down to the side, because you're gonna get the same stretch as your hip is moving out to the left. All right, one more nice deep breath in and out. Sweeping that arm back and forth. And coming back to standing, let's bend the knees up and down, shaking out the hand a little bit. And we'll do that one more time. So straighten the legs, reaching your arm out to the side, straight ahead or over to the side. Smiling and breathing. Reach a little bit more. And then reach the arm back out. If you want to add a little rainbow back and forth, you can. Or if you're done with that, just start bending your knees and waving your hands side to side. All right, let's come into tree pose. So tree pose, you're welcome to either use the chair or not use the chair, depending on how your balance is. So let's just start with bringing the right toes out in front of us. So if you want to hold the chair, you can. You can also put your hands on your waist. And just pause and balance here. If you want to make this a little more challenging, you can bend your knee and come back up. All right, 3 more bends. 2, 3, and lower the foot. So tree pose, I'll give you a few options. One is just toes on the ground and your heel is against your ankle. So you might just stay here, hands to your hips or hands to the chair. If this is good, you can always bring your foot a little bit higher to the calf. Again, chair, no chair. Or if you want, you can bring your foot all the way up to your thigh. And again, chair or no chair. So finding whatever tree you want and whatever hands you want. So chair, hands to your hips, hands out in a T shape. And if you want, you can bring your hands overhead or keep holding the chair. 3 more breaths in and out. And then turn your palms out, facing the floor, coming back, or releasing your foot, walking out your feet, back and forth. And then let's do the other side. So I'm going to raise my left toes high, leg is straight, toes are pointed, hands either on the chair or on your hips. Maybe you want to make this a little more challenging, you can start bending that right knee, the standing knee, lowering and raising. Three more. Raising up, placing that foot back to the ground, walking out your feet. And we'll move into tree. So again, you have options for tree, finding whichever one you want to work with today. So first finding your leg, and then deciding which hand position you want to use with your arms. And just coming into stillness here. So we have a thing in yoga called drishti. Drishti point is one point that you look at, so that way you can bring all your focus and attention on the one point. So it might be a spot on your wall, it might be a painting, it might be a knob on a cabinet. Wherever that is, just find one spot to look at because it can help you really focus and really find the stability in your standing posture. If you want to add a different set of arms, you're welcome to bring your arms out in a T. If you want, you can bring your arms overhead. And then we'll turn the palms out. Slowly lower the hands back down to the thighs. Release the foot and walk out your feet back and forth. All right, excellent trees, everybody. All right, let's lift to the right knee. We're going to roll that ankle in some circles again. Ankles are tricky little joints. They're always snapping and popping, and there's a lot of tendons and a lot of little tiny muscles in our feet. So you can circle it, you can point and flex it, you can wiggle your toes. Give it a little shake back and forth. And then release that foot. Let's do the other side. So lift the left knee. Again, you can use your chair or just practice your balance a little bit more today. Rolling the ankle in both directions. And then pointing and flexing. Moving your ankle whichever way feels good to you. Just bringing some motion to it. Wiggling your toes. And then giving it a little shake and a little wiggle. And releasing the foot back down. Let's walk out the feet back and forth. And then we're gonna plant the feet so they're underneath our hips. There's about 1 or 2 fists in between the big toes. We're gonna clasp the hands, clasp the fingers, and you're gonna press the palms forward, tucking the chin and rounding the back. So gaze to the floor. And we're gonna inhale, arms overhead, looking up. And exhale, release the hands back together at the heart. Inhale, clasp the hands, exhale, press hands forward, rounding the back, tucking the chin, gaze to the floor. I'll turn a little bit so you can just see how I'm at the side. I have a little bend in my knees, gaze to the floor. Inhale, arms stretch high, look up. And release the hands to the sides, palms together at the heart. Breathe in. Clasp the hands, press the palms forward, exhale. Inhale, arms reach high. Exhale, release. Palms to the heart. Inhale and exhale. Clasp the hands, press them forward. Inhale, lift high, look up. Exhale, release the arms, hands to the heart. Let's do this one more time. So exhale, press the hands forward, round the back. Inhale up. And exhale, arms come down. Hands come back to the heart space. So just taking a moment here, maybe closing your eyes or looking at the floor. Just checking in with your standing feet, grounding into the ground. And the top of your head reaching up towards the ceiling. And see if you can find a little bit more space in between your bones, in between your cells, stretching you from feet to the top of your head. Softening the breath. And as you're ready, you can release your hands. Let's grab our chairs again, and we'll come back to our seated positions. Maybe grab a sip of water, or I have tea. So let's move into our little tapping routine. So bringing your fingertips to tap on your cheekbones, grounding us into our seats, grounding our feet into the floor, feeling stable and solid. tapping the upper chest, breathing in, breathing out. Tapping the center. And then bringing your hands to the side of your rib cage, halfway between your armpits and your waist. And then moving to our crossovers, right hand to left shoulder, breathe in. Exhale, sweep across to your hip. Opposite arm, left hand to your right shoulder, breathe in. Exhale across to the opposite hip. Back and forth, right hand, left shoulder, inhale. Exhale across. Inhale up. Exhale across. So you can continue to go slowly, or you can move a little bit faster, crossing one side and then the other. And ending with both hands sliding down your thighs. We're going to bring the hands and slide them all the way down the calves. And you might just pause at your calves, or maybe you slide them all the way down to your feet, squeezing the sides of your feet and pulling off your feet, raising your arms high overhead and releasing your arms down to the sides, rubbing your hands together. We're going to place our palms over our eyes and fingertips over the forehead. So closing off the sense of vision for a few moments. Bringing your awareness to the sounds around you. And the sensations in your body. And then bringing your fingertips over to your temples, pausing and breathing here, a couple of breaths. Tucking your hair behind your ears, coming down to your shoulders, holding your shoulders for a couple of breaths. And then pulling your fingertips forward, crossing at your heart, holding your heart space for a couple of breaths. And then sliding your hands down your belly and down to your thighs. So moving into our final resting pose. You're welcome to get comfortable on your chair, maybe lean back. You're welcome to stay sitting tall. You're welcome to turn or dim your lights. And we'll take 4 or 5 minutes to rest in our quiet places. Finding comfort in our seats, comfort in our minds, comfort with the breathing. So bringing your awareness back to the room, back to your seat. Maybe noticing the speed of your breathing. Notice if there's stillness around you or stillness within you, or maybe both. And bringing your hands together at your heart space. If you wish to revisit your intention from earlier in class, checking in and noticing how it feels now. Breathing 3 times into your hands, into your hearts. Thank you all for sharing your energy with me today. It's great to have you here. Namaste.
Thank you, Steph.
You're welcome. Glad you made it.
Thank you.